Welcome back to my channel and congratulations because you are a manager and already hiring, or you just get promoted and start to hiring. So in this video I want to share with you the 7 tips which has really been helpful for me and going to help you to hire the right candidate. Because when you are building and becoming a manager, one of the main core things is about building a right team. So how to build the right team? The team is built by the people, so you need to bring the right people inside of your team and also invest on your existing people as well too, and keep the right people as well. So the hiring for always been a main important task for every manager's, director, or even C-suites as well too. So let's get ready for the 7 tips which are going to help you to hire the right talent in your team. Let's get started. When you want to hire somebody, the rule number 1, you need to consider the person is the right fit for your team. And I tell you, this is the only way, the best way probably, only best way for me to hire the people who you actually willing to work for. People always like to hire people and think about, oh, he's gonna work for me, so if I see that he can work for me, I can work, and then I will hire. But actually it's the opposite. Hire the people which you are willing to work for. And that's one of the best way to bring the right people to your team. That's the rule number 1. Hiring the people who you're willing to work for. Number 2, when you are having the conversation with the candidate during the interview time, you focused about the candidate is willing to listen. When you are speaking on something, are they willing to listen enough? So here is you have to pay attention to one thing, it's very important. When you are speaking, you pay attention, are they listening or really pretending to listen? If you're speaking too much, that's your problem. You need to improve your interview skills. So you gotta be very straightforward and clear and soft enough. So that's the art. More and more interview you do, you're gonna gain that one. But that need to be clear enough. And when you're saying that one, the candidate should be paying really listen to it and understand it and give you the feedback. So that was tip number 2. Pay attention, is he really or she really listening to you and really actively listening to you or not? Not just pretending they're listening. So that's the rule number 2. Now let's talk about the rule number 3. So when you want to have an interview this person, you try to do not just a structured thing. Like me, one of the things I do during the interview, I don't like to go for question number 1, question number 2. In this section, I'm going to focus about technical skills. That's not a conversation. Because during the working time, you're going to work with somebody where you have small talks and you have conversations to get things done. You got to feel comfortable about each other during the time, because after you hire the person, you're going to spend 8 to 9 hours together with the person. So that's so much important that you're willing to comfortably work on that person too. So during the interview, set up your questions like a conversation, and you see how the person is catching up your conversation, how they're really tapping into it. If they're not tapping into it well, that's one problem. If they're tapping into your conversation but not adding any valuable, practical, real-life data into it to reference their statement, that's another problem too. So the tip number 4, tip number 3 is about you pay attention to building the conversation and see during the conversation the candidate is giving you value and example-based answer to these questions and building this right conversation with you. So that's one of the evaluation, tip number 3. So now let's talk about the tip number 4. Pay attention to the body language. So when you are interviewing the candidates, you try to look into their body language, how they're feeling, how they're sitting, how they're putting their hand, are they rubbing their nose, are they rubbing their ear. So these are all a bad sign. So when you're having the conversation, you try to pay attention to your body language. But by the way, there's a lot of master out there too. They probably have gone through a lot of video how to get a great job interviews, those kinds of great video, and even they have taken some courses. So they can fake the body language sometime. But as an interviewer, you need to pay attention into it and look into it, the pay attention. And more mastery you get, even the fake it, you can catch it. So that's the thing. More interview you do, more mastery you can get in interview and the fake, and you can still catch it. So tip number 4 was to pay attention to their body language. So now it's time to tip number 5. Follow your gut feeling. It's very important. You're a manager, you're a hiring manager, or you're a director, you're a hiring manager, you're hiring the people. You need to follow that gut feeling. Because you need to build a gut feeling into you, inside of you. How does your heart telling to this person? Do you really feel comfortable to work with the person? Do you feel that this person really going to add value? So that gut feeling is really important as well too. So you can listen to it. But I understand you feel like, oh, I'm not a gut feeling person. But even you don't use it right now at this present level, more and more interview you do, more senior you become, it's going to build that skill inside of you. If you're a young one, yeah, I understand. This is not probably a strongest point of you. So you can focus more other points, which is I'm moving to in the 6. And the 6 is here about during the interview, your main focus about how this person gonna fit to your team, will be a team player with you. That's what is important. Whenever you're recruiting someone, that person needs to be a team player. How do you balance team players? That person needs to be hungry, that person needs to be humble, and then that person needs to be smart. And they gotta have a balance of 3 of them to be a team player. I made a detailed video about that one, how to assess a great team player. So after click on this link on the top right corner. So after the video, you can click that and put it in the next tab, and you can also watch that video too. How you can get a great team player. So they gotta be hungry, they gotta be humble, they gotta be smart, and the balance of 3 of them is the ideal team player, and that's exactly what you needed in your team. So, and the tip number 7. And that is what you need to look into this person, what kind of capability that person is bringing. But here is more important. When you are a hiring manager, most of the time you have to build a job description, and you have to give it to HR, and you have to do job description, website, and so on, and people coming into it. But your main goal is not about getting your people who just made you a job description. Your main goal is about focusing about what is the particular capabilities this person is bringing to your team. So you can have the right people into your team and keep developing that your team. And actually, with that capability you need to achieve the goal you need to achieve for your team, so which can contribute to overall your company's or business success and achievement and goals. So this is where you need to be focused about. Focus about their capabilities, not just only background. Of course, you need the background check to make sure that what kind of profile they have, which company they work on, what is the culture of the company as well. So you should be paying attention, because what the culture they're living out, probably they will be kind of holding that culture with them. There will be some kind of flavor. Let's say about you jump to the swimming pool and you get up, you got chlorine in your body. It's the same. And now you can look into that person LinkedIn as well too. When you're going to go to LinkedIn profile and you look at those reference, what kind of reference? I don't really like to check back reference, formal reference check, but I like to look at the LinkedIn profile reference, because those are public, everybody giving to them and everybody seeing into it. And those people who are actually giving the reference, they can be openly hold accountable what they have done. So the most of the time they will be speaking very honest. And more importantly, I like to pay attention to that person LinkedIn activities. What they really done? Are they been commenting around, or with some random posts, or they really get some great skill set? They shared the right videos. Did they share different kind of articles they have been writing down? Did they talking about different constructing conversation with different other professionals? How they express their opinion? How they respect other opinions? So those are the things I like to pay attention to. So those are the things I also suggest you look into. So this is like a team number 7, where you do the backgrounds on skill checks, you do capability focus, you look at the LinkedIn profiles, and that's the 7 tips for you. So these are the 7 tips for you. And if you do this one again and again, and you keep interviewing people, your skill set, every interview you do is going to get better. Like a muscle, like you go to the gym, you build up, you lift up your weight. So it build up more muscle to you. And it's the same. These are your leadership skill. When you keep interviewing more and more and more and more people, and you get more and more and more expertise inside of you. And if you stop it, it's going to go down. So you have to keep doing it as being a leader. And that will be your success journey. And that's the process. So I always like to say that. Fall in love with the process, and then the result will come. So these are the 7 tips for you, so you can hire the right teams for your team and make your team a successful team, so all the team member can have a great life moving forward, and with you too. So everybody happy and the company achieve more bigger goals. And I'm looking forward to your great success as well too. All the best.